when I saw patterns of behavior in my own life that were making things worse than they had to be, then that was an indication that it was time to stop.
Most people don't quit alcohol because they want to. They quit because they're forced to. In this video, we're going to look at the reasons why Jordan Peterson quit alcohol. Then, how we can apply it to your life. Helping you quit before you throw your life away. As someone who's been sober for 5 years, I'm going to go deep into these points. Helping you reframe sobriety in a completely different way. Quick introduction, my name's Ben. I am the proud founder of Hybrid Sobriety, a program that not only helps you quit alcohol, but helps you become the most disciplined, determined version of yourself, so you can thrive in every aspect of life. I have a free training video for 2025. It's free at the moment. I'm not sure how long it's going to be there for, but the link is below in description. Check it out.
You know, alcohol doesn't bring out the best in people's characters.
Alcohol doesn't bring out the best in people's character. Alcohol made me act out in ways I would never have sober. I think I might have got arrested 8 or 9 times, and I have lost count with the amount of times that I've been to court. It's not funny, by the way. And to top this all off, I've been sent to prison twice. I used to get bullied a lot in school, and then I found alcohol and it gave me my confidence back. At the time, I thought it was some sort of superpower, but looking back, I realized how much it disrupted my life. I've talked about how I quit alcohol shortly after my 30th birthday, and I am approaching 5 years sober. I've since realized that real confidence is about being able to talk to anyone, anywhere, about anything without having an alcoholic drink in my hand. Thankfully, I've not been in trouble with the law since. I own my past, and this is a timely reminder that you can change your life at any time.
Alcohol almost universally makes people less than they are.
It makes people less than they are. Let me ask you this. If you never drank alcohol, would you be further or closer to your goals right now? What would you be doing instead of watching videos on how to fix your alcohol problem? Although I have an interesting story about my past, I was only living at 60% of my full potential. It's the day that you drink, the day after that you're hungover, and the day after that you're still not 100%. That is 3 days out of 7 lost to drinking alcohol. I didn't even know who I was or what I wanted during my drinking days. It was only natural that I was falling behind in life. There's a version of you inside with so much potential, but alcohol keeps dragging him back.
It's fun because it eradicates your concern for future consequences.
It's fun because it removes concern for future consequences. You're going to love this story. It's a perfect example for this point. When I was 18, I got arrested for having a fight outside Tesco's. For those of you who don't know, it's this big supermarket in the UK. These 2 boys wanted to beat me up because they tried to sell me pills and I said no. So they waited outside for me to come out. I came out, got into a fight, got arrested. I ended up going to court and I got community service. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's basically when you do unpaid work in the community instead of going to prison. But this is the best point. I had community service every Thursday, and there was a thing called student night every Wednesday night where people from university would go out on the town and they would have cheap drinks. You're not going to believe this. I went out on the Wednesday night, got into a fight, and I got arrested. And obviously I missed community service the next day because I was still in the police station. When you miss community service, you get sent back to court and you get extra hours. For me, I got an extra 20 hours. And to top it off, for that fight on Wednesday night, I got my first prison sentence 18 months later after finally coming off bail and going to court. 90% of the bad things that have happened to me in life are a result of drinking alcohol.
Alcohol is a potent anxiety-reducing drug.
It removes anxiety in the moment, but I would actually argue it makes it worse the next day. Every time I used to go out drinking, me and my friends used to discuss how anxious we felt before we went out on the town. It was that not knowing of who would be out or where we'd end up. There's no surprise when I look at how many times that I've been punched or arrested. Going out drinking isn't fun. How can it be when you feel like that? But now I don't drink, I can go out on a night out without feeling anxiety. This is because I know I can trust sober Ben. Plus, I've channeled all my energy into kickboxing for the last 10 years. So I'm more than confident that a sober Ben can get himself out of a drunken altercation with a stranger. Anxiety for me now is personally key for progressing in life, and I'm going to tell you why. I get anxiety for two reasons. Usually when I haven't made a decision on something that requires my urgent attention, or when I haven't done the work that needs to be done. I can't relax now because this YouTube video has to go out tonight and I'm against the clock. But it's a good problem to have. It helps hundreds of people, it grows my channel, and it also gets me clients so I'm able to live.
For people too, it can have a heroin-like effect, which facilitates the sense of social belonging.
It gives you a sense of social belonging. When I was living in Australia, I was working with this Irish boy. I remember he said to me that the pubs in Australia weren't as good as the ones in Ireland. It's true, Australian bars lack the character. He said that you could happily spend all night in a pub in Ireland. The lights are dimmed, it's all cozy, maybe there's even a fire. The music playing in the background all adds to the atmosphere. You don't really care what you say and you're not really fussed about the quality of company. But it's all a lie, you're not being the real, authentic you. And those people that you're surrounded by, they're not your real friends. How many of them could you call in a crisis? Alcohol and drugs, they give you the illusion of a belonging. But when you stop, you realize you didn't belong there in the first place. Hindsight is a beautiful thing.
That was one of the reasons too why I completely stopped drinking, is because the more successful I got, the bigger the price I had to pay. Like taking half a day off became so valuable that I thought to myself, do I want to pass that up for 2 drinks? Or would I rather just not have the 2?
Well, that was another...
The host tells Jordan that he quit drinking because 2 drinks amounted to him losing half a day. This sounds like nothing when you don't have much ambition for life. But half a day, hungover, laying on the sofa when you're striving for big goals is a big deal, especially if you only get 1 day off a week.
What also convinced me to stop drinking is when I was working on my first book. It was too emotionally demanding to work on when I was hungover. Like I just couldn't handle it. It was just too much. You know, reading about sadistic Auschwitz guards is rather disturbing at the best of times. And if you're royally hungover, it's much worse. And also I couldn't edit because I couldn't think clearly.
Jordan opens up about being emotional when writing his book, Hungover. We get emotional when we're hungover because alcohol disrupts our neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. It alters our brain's chemistry. Plus, alcohol disrupts our REM sleep. It's the most restorative phase in our sleeping cycle. Poor quality sleep equals low emotional resilience, making you irritable and prone to sadness. I've recently started adding an extra 30 minutes to my 8-hour sleep schedule. Sleep is the biggest performance-enhancing drug in life.
If you want to deal with an addiction, it's one thing to quit. Quitting doesn't exactly work. You have to replace it with something better. And if alcohol's great or cocaine's great for you, it's like, well, what could be better? Well, that's your problem fundamentally.
To get over addiction, you need to replace it with something better. From my own experience, that's why I was wrestling with sobriety for over 10 years. Stopping alcohol and identifying as someone who doesn't drink are 2 completely different things. Being someone who doesn't drink means rebuilding your routine and identity. This is where most of you fail. You quit for a month or 2, but you fail to replace it with something better. As a result, you don't feel that you belong anywhere. You hold on to the same friends who drink and take drugs. You still spend time in pubs and bars, and as a result, you eventually go back to drinking.
The consequence for me was, I would misbehave when I was drinking in ways that made me remorseful the next day.
It's sending that relationship-ending text or arguing with that friend. That's not fun, that's not freedom, that's shame. And the worst part, it starts to become normal. We start to expect waking up with regret because it's part of the deal. If you're stuck in this destructive cycle, I promise you, there is another way. I've left my link below for my free training video for 2025. I'm not sure how long it's going to be free for, but it's there now. And I thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.